Hey yo, what's cracking, Kuma Corporation? Welcome back to another video with me, Professor Bubs. We're going to be doing a bodybuilding push day. So we're going to be working the chest, we're going to be working the shoulders and the triceps. And I'm going to walk you through the entire thing. And this workout is going to be for maximal gains. So you're not going to want to miss this. All right, we made it to the shop unscathed. I'm about to start my workout. By unscathed, I mean, I was driving down the road and this guy was waiting for a left turn, and then I guess his brain just shut off, and then he turned left when I was about maybe like 100 feet away from him. I really have no concept of the distance because it all happened so fast. I slammed my brakes, all my stuff in my back seat just went flying, and I was like, this dude's insane. And then his eyes were just like big and wide, bug-eyed. He was terrified. He was like, you know, he had that look of, oh shit. You know what I mean? So luckily, you know, didn't run into him or anything, but almost stopped my heart. Oh my God. Gonna go ahead inside, and yeah, we're gonna be doing that bodybuilding push workout. So I will see you for maybe the warm-up or exercise one. Yeah. First exercise is gonna be the barbell bench press, the incline barbell bench press. And the reason why we're gonna be doing this is because we wanna work the chest first, and the chest, as we know, the pectoralis major, is going to be a horizontal shoulder adductor, so basically this, right? And the press is going to help us achieve that, okay? And so a lot of people may be kind of contrarian to the idea that barbell movements are good for hypertrophy. And while they have some grounds to make this case, in reality, the barbell movements are some of the best movements to actually grow, actually really stimulate muscle growth, right? So we're gonna be doing some heavy incline barbell bench press, and we're gonna be shooting for 2 to 3 sets. And you're gonna wanna pick a weight or warm up to a weight that you can do for a guaranteed 12 reps for your first set. And then the second set, you're gonna try to hit it again. Try to do your best to get to like 12 reps. If you get like 11 or 10, that's fine. And a third one, if you choose to do a third set, then, you know, try to get as many as you can, really, realistically. You don't need to go too overboard, but definitely be training in sort of like a RPE like 7 to 8 range. For me, that is gonna be 225 pounds. So we're just gonna go ahead and get it. Set the grip, dig the hands in, back set, let's go. Oh man. Woo. That was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. I don't think I really warmed up enough, but yeah. So the next set, I'm gonna try to get like 11 or 12. And then the final set, if I choose to do one, it's gonna be like anywhere between 9 and 12 reps. Anything in that range is gonna be a win. So while I'm resting, the plan for today is going to be obviously, you know, to do a push day, but as the pectoralis is horizontal shoulder adductor, right? The pectoralis also is split into 2 different heads, right? So you have the clavicular head here, sternal head here. The incline is gonna be good for allowing us to quote unquote target the clavicular head of the pectoralis major a bit better. So the one thing that you're gonna notice is that the exercise I choose for a reason. So now that I got that stimulus on the upper portion or clavicular head of my pec, we're going to be focusing more on that main sternal head of the pec. So in order to achieve that, we're also going to be utilizing horizontal shoulder adduction, but in a fly movement. Instead of kind of just focusing on pressing, we're going to be adding a fly, and that'll be the second exercise that we're going to lead into. And so the reason why I like to do it this way is because you're going to want to train your musculature in its intended movement patterns. Your biceps, for example, are a very good example of this. The biceps are an elbow flexor, right? So they do this, but they are also minimally a shoulder flexor as well. So what that means is that the bicep not only does elbow flexion here at this joint, it also assists and shoulder flexion here up in this direction, right? So you want to train your muscles in their intended patterns of movement. And to do that, you can cherry pick your exercises in a way that will allow you to do so. At the end of the day, you don't want to waste your time going from like a barbell bench press directly into a dumbbell bench press. You've already achieved that kind of pressing movement pattern. So instead, you want to utilize exercises that are going to allow you to achieve certain stimulus to move your muscles and contract your muscles in the way that they're supposed to contract, but also not fatigue certain muscles or overexert them. Right. So, second exercise, like I said, is going to be the pec fly, and or some kind of pec fly. And what I'm choosing here is going to be a cable fly. I just noticed that one of these handles is actually a little bit longer than the other, but that's fine. That's okay. What we're going to do is have the cables set up just under your shoulder height, and the reason for that is because you want to be flying out in front of you, but actually a little bit declined as well. So a lot of people make the mistake of, for example, the decline press, that they'll utilize the commercial decline press, and that angle, that negative angle past zero, right, is actually a little too steep, and it's a little bit dangerous for a shoulder health. So you're going to be wanting to utilize a more like a -10 to -15 degree for a decline press if you're going to do one. It's not necessary to do them, but if you like it, then that's going to be kind of like the angle you're looking for, similarly to, cables as well. But anyways, we're going to be utilizing some pretty, I don't want to say light, but lighter weight here. And you're really going to want to really squeeze on every single rep as hard as you can, realistically. And we're shooting for somewhere in the ballpark of like 15 to 16 reps. So let's get it. So, yep, squeeze as hard as you can, realistically, on every single rep. Slight lean forward is okay, just like this. And we'll squeeze every single rep. Should be moderately difficult. So for me right now, this is still kind of a warm-up, so I'm still able to like speak and talk to you guys, but realistically, increase that time under tension, squeeze every rep, control the weight back down, and that should get you there. Again, you want to choose weights that are going to allow you to comfortably work in that like 15, 16 rep range, and shooting for like something in the ballpark of like 3 sets. So one tip I can give you about cable flies is that as you come out with a fly, try not to pronate, try not to turn your palms down, right? So have the back of your hand up, palm facing down. As you fly in this direction, try to keep your palms up as much as you can. This is going to allow you to get a further contraction, bringing those elbows closer to the midline. Squeeze that chest a little bit harder. So just a little tip for you all. Now we're finished with the chest, it's time to work our shoulders. And so the first thing we're going to do for the shoulders, one of two things, is going to be working the lateral raise, lateral head. So this is a seated lateral raise machine. If you don't have one of these, it's totally fine to use cables. It's totally fine to use dumbbells. You're going to want to work, I would say 3 to 4 sets, anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. And with these, to increase intensity, you can always use tempo reps. You can use pause reps, for example. I personally like to do tempo reps. I like to take my time with it and really move slowly and with purpose. So let's do some tempo reps on the lateral raise. I do like to sit up a bit straighter as well, just for context. I like to open up the chest just like this and do tempo reps. There's no need to go super high or anything like that. Just creating a 90-degree angle with your armpit is enough. Oh, okay. So one thing you can do to try to not necessarily intensify, but feel the exercise better is to concentrate on pushing from your elbows. So imagine like your entire forearm is just like immovable, right? And so just push from just the elbow, almost as if, this doesn't exist. Like push just from the elbow itself and get that up there. Last thing we're going to do for the shoulders is going to be a shoulder press, and I'm actually going to be using a shoulder press machine but sitting the opposite direction. And the reason is typically when people use a shoulder press machine, they use it as intended, backs on the backrest, you know, and start pressing. A lot of people end up using a bit of their pec, well, not just a bit, but a lot of their pec to be the primary mover of the exercise, right? And so what I'm trying to achieve here, and what you can achieve here by sitting the opposite direction, is to prevent your chest from being, you know, as active in the movement, and focus more of your pressing strength to come from your shoulder and obviously tricep as well. So with this, anywhere between like, you know, 8 to 12 reps is fine. Try to keep yourself as tight as possible, your elbows as tight as possible. This is going to close off additional engagement of the pec, right? You're not going to be able to, you know, sort of try to cheat it by squeezing up this way, right? Like rotating. And so close it off, try to target the front delt as much as you can. And, you know, anywhere between 8 to 12 reps is good. I like to kind of, the way that I press, I like to kind of align my spine with the direction the handles are going to move. So if the handles are going to move up and back a little bit, I like to angle forward just a tiny bit, just to assist in keeping my chest out of the equation. So when I press, I really just concentrate on the delts being the primary mover. Ooh. Yeah. With this, again, you know, 8 to 12 reps. Choose a weight that you can comfortably do for 12 reps, and then each subsequent set, you know, you could either try to just go heavier each subsequent set, like pyramid up, or you can just choose a weight that's like a 12 rep maximum and just go set 1, 2, 3. I would suggest choosing something that's like an RPE 7 or 6 for your first 12 rep set, and then just add on some weight for each subsequent set. That way you're not taxing your shin as much as you did earlier on the incline bench press, for example. Once I finish this set, it'll be time to hit the triceps. And with the triceps, we're going to be using exercises that are going to target, you know, all 3 heads realistically. So we're going to do something for that short head, and then subsequently medial head, and then after that, we're going to be targeting that long head too. So I'll show you guys that in just a second. Now we're going to be hitting the triceps, and the first thing we're going to be doing is a tricep push down. I am using cones. They look like that. You can just use a rope, whatever works for you realistically. I like to use cones just because they're a little bit more comfortable for me to grab. Kind of change my grip a little bit too. So I noticed a lot of people, like, the tricep push down is like a hotly debated topic for some reason. And honestly, like, everyone's like, you're doing your tricep push downs wrong, or this is how you should be doing your tricep push downs. And honestly, I see this Asian dude a lot, and he's like, let me show you what you're doing wrong. And it's highly opinionated, and he's like saying a lot of stuff basically that's not technically wrong. Some of it's wrong, but not technically all of it is wrong. But yeah, let me just try to be as definitive as possible, I suppose. So for the triceps, what they do is extend the elbow, right? So they do this, right? And so if that's the case, a lot of people seem to suggest that you're supposed to like get your hands behind your back or whatever, right? But in reality, that action of shoulder extension, so if this is shoulder flexion, this is shoulder extension, this action here is not really performed by the tricep. What it does do is to adduct at the shoulder, right? So basically, it allows your shoulder to remain stable and in place, right? So it doesn't get popped out or anything, right? So that's what it minimally does. And a lot of people seem to confuse that with shoulder extension, which is this, right? So let's not make that mistake and realize that, you know, the best way to target the tricep and tricep push down is not to be like doing this, where you're really bringing it back, because at that point you're activating and utilizing your upper back musculature, but instead focus on pressing down, right? So I like to lean forward a little bit
And what that's going to allow me to do is get in a position where if I press down, I can fully extend at that elbow. And that's what I want. So if you were to draw a line of tension, so if the weight is being distributed in this direction, you're going to want to create as much tension as possible, you know, kind of sort of at that 45-degree angle to develop the triceps. So that's how I like to do my tricep. You know, if this feels good for you, like swinging it all the way back like that, go ahead. But I am telling you, it's not necessary. And also, you're just kind of activating your upper back musculature to do that in the first place. So it's not really gonna help all that much. So with triceps, you know, I like to train my triceps. I like to train all my muscles realistically in the way that they're meant to be trained. The heads of the tricep, you know, they have a different distribution, right? Depending on which head you're talking about. And so for this, kind of train that force production. So utilizing, you know, heavier weights, really trying to build, that's fine and everything. But with the long head of the tricep, it's actually predominantly going to be, you know, type 1 muscle fibers, which are really for, you know, that slow twitch, that long extended duration, right? So what you're going to want to do for the long head, which is what I'm going to do after this, is train sort of like almost like lighter weight, but at the same time, you know, get that time under tension going. It's more important to do so for the long head. Yeah, so for the long head of the tricep, all I'm going to be really realistically doing is doing tricep overhead extensions at the cable machine. I'm going to drop the weight significantly, and we're just going to extend overhead just like this, splitting the handle apart and whatnot. So that's going to be the last thing in the workout. So that's going to be the end of the workout. I hope that helps. You don't need to choose this exact workout every single time you're going to do a push day, but it can be a helpful framework for you to get your gains. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can just ask them down below. Let's also try to change this graph from looking like this to looking like this. Hope you all have a good one. Catch you all in the next video. Peace.